Good morning. You're tuned in on the Encourage Services Show on Spreaker.com. I'm your host, Encouragement Javi. Thank you so much for tuning in. This morning, we're going to be discussing creating a mission statement and decision skills making. So, when creating a mission for yourself, a mission statement for yourself, there's a few things that we need to go over. This show is for those who have maybe experienced some type of extreme dysfunction in their life, or perhaps have been victims of some type of abuse as a child and they're now adults, and although they have forgiven and let some things go, they're trying to move forward with their lives. Or perhaps if they haven't forgiven just yet and started letting some things go, they're open to it and they're just wanting to learn steps toward that, which is why we call it the Encourage Services Show. So, creating a mission statement. The types of space that we create in our life inwardly is very, very important, because what can happen is we can create sins in our heart or continual mistakes and bad choices in our heart if we allow our heart to take up negative spaces in our life. So what we're wanting to do is talk about first the negative spaces that can be created inwardly within our life. Inwardly means within our heart. The first one is unforgiveness. The second one is bitterness. The third one is hatred. The fourth one is unresolved issues. The fifth one is uncontrollable anger. So when you look at unforgiveness in your heart, where you allow that to sit there and it begins to set in inwardly in your life, it could be unforgiveness towards someone else where you think that they done something that is wrong because of your belief system, or it could be maybe perhaps someone has done you wrong, and over a period of time, over and over and over again, and you just have a really hard time forgiving that person. Also, it could be numerous things. I was just giving some examples. What you're wanting to do, and please keep in mind that this is advice, and we are a free encouragement services, and by no means are you under any obligations to use this. If you want to use this, you so choose to, that is fine. You might even want to, if you're in counseling or therapy, share with your counselor or therapist what we're sharing here, so that they'll know what we're discussing or talking about, but we are not licensed. We just offer free encouragement services. Getting back to the basics of unforgiveness, as you're learning to wanting to forgive someone and you have a lot of unforgiveness in your heart, one aspect you want to take into consideration is that, yes, it's beneficial for yourself to forgive, because it doesn't help the other person, but it puts a big relief of letting go in your heart, and it's for you. It's not for the other person. And you also want to consider if the other person is continually acting this way toward you, where they're just continually doing things knowing that they're trying to cause bitterness or hatred or get you upset. As you forgive this person, you may also want to distance yourself from them, or from anybody for that fact, that would try to stir up mixed emotions or bad emotions in you, because it does not give off good vibes for you if you're trying to move forward. Because what happens is that sets in bitterness, and bitterness is when you're just you have a really pure hatred, maybe about that something or about someone, even about that family. And sometimes people would think of ways that they want to actually get this person back, and they would spend more time thinking on the person than thinking about how their heart is. And bitterness also can lead to hatred. And when you're in the hate mode, it is really hard to create a lot of calmness in your life and a lot of peace in your life. Sometimes we could have calmness and peace in certain areas of our life, but we just think on that one person and hatred come up. Your spirit cannot rest like it should when you're like that. You also want to consider with unresolved issues. Perhaps maybe it was somebody that you've done some things wrong to, and if it's a safe place, a safe net to whether it's email, whether it's through Skype, whether it's through a phone call or through a letter, if it's safe and you and the person are on speaking terms, to apologize to them. If you so in fact have some unresolved issues like that. Also, unresolved issues could be that in our life we just have created a lot of torture and torment for other people. I have a friend that she was going through a really hard time and struggling, but she enjoyed just being real negative toward other people and saying really bad things about them, as far as how other people should raise their children, and if she was the parent, she would do this and she would do that. And she had her own children, but she wasn't concentrating on hers as much as she should have, because of course she thought she knew everything and believed that one family fits all sizes. There are a lot of people like that, and they don't realize that every family is different and every person is different, and they have to raise their children how it is on their heart. But anyway, she wind up saying some really mean things. Of course, some of these parents was hurt, and then some of these parents just didn't care. They said that they were going to do what they thought was best in spite of what she was saying. But the ones who were really hurt were the ones that she was good friends with, because sometimes we as people can think that we're doing things better. And it's so easy to look and say, well, if they were doing this and they were doing that, this will work and that will work. And really what we're doing is judging. And of course, some of these people came back and judged her 10 to 12 times, sometimes even 30 times worse than what she was doing, to show her that, hey, you don't do that. This gives a negative effect, a negative impact. We don't like this. And the situation for her just got really chaotic. And so as she began to work through the negative spaces of unforgiveness, bitterness, hatred, unresolved issues, and uncontrollable anger, she had to go back. Although some of the people had continued to judge her and was sharing information about her because she had actually started it, she went back with some of the people that she was still on speaking terms with, even though they was just saying hi and that was it to each other, hi and bye, and apologized and told them that she really shouldn't have stuck her nose in their business and that she was sorry, even though she meant the best for them. Sometimes we feel like we can just do that to people, and we're actually invading their space, thinking that we're going to help them, and we're actually hindering them. And she also didn't pray using wisdom and guidance about whether or not she should speak to the person regarding this matter. Can you imagine if everybody did that? They thought it was okay to invade people's privacy because they have a word that they want to share with the person. So we want to move on to uncontrollable anger. It's very, very important that you don't let it get this far to where you have outbursts of anger. You cannot control your anger. Maybe you're just yelling and screaming to the utmost at your friends, your employees. Just anger inside of you. Every relationship seems you're not able to hold it together, because this creates more like a burning turmoil in your heart. Even though some people may have good friends with other people, sometimes they really outside their little, what we call outside their click box, they don't get along so well with other people that maybe they don't like, or that they didn't believe that somebody should have or should not have done. And it gives a result concerning their character. And we all can have character flaws and character issues. So you want to take a look at that if you're in a place where you're trying to move forward with your life and you don't want to create more negative space in your life or in your heart. And it takes time. When you're trying to replace the negative spaces with the positive spaces, those positive spaces are forgiving oneself, accepting yourself, unresolved issues dealt with, creating calmness and peace in your life, maintaining self-control. So, when you're forgiving, it's much easier to have more peace in your life, and you're much easier to deal with as a person. I mean, even with yourself, if you think about it, when you take someone that have a lot of unforgiveness in their heart and in their life, it's even harder to get along with yourself sometimes, because we might know that we shouldn't have this unforgiveness there and that it's not helping ourselves, but it feels good that we have it toward that person or whoever it is. And it just, sometimes people get headaches from that, they get depression from that. So a positive space is forgiving oneself. And although we might still get sick sometimes, some people do, most of the time people do not have long-lasting, just recurring headaches. They don't have continual headaches and stomach aches. It's easier for them to relax and to think much calmer. And what I found through forgiving is that once you open up your heart and just say, you know, I don't want to forgive this person right now, but I'm just going to let it go. And maybe if you say their name out loud to yourself, or perhaps if you're in a support group somewhat, and you're trying to deal with forgiveness, that would help. What I've helped is praying. Found for myself is praying for the person, and then once I've prayed for them, I don't think about it anymore, but I certainly remember what they did, and I distance myself from them, because some relationships are not healthy. It's just not healthy at all. I once had a friend who had a friend that she had not forgiven herself for a lot of things. And when her friend got angry at her, she constantly reminded her about it, about some of the things that she had done. And of course, none of us are angels. We all have different mistakes, choices, and sins that we made in our life. Well, this was building up in the friend, and although my friend knew that her friend was a forgiving person, one day when she called her, she just told her, she said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And she said, why not? You've been talking to me for all these years. And she said, I forgive you. I have been dealing with this for about 3 or 4 years in my life, and I didn't want to leave our relationship hastily or in anger or in meanness. So I've been praying for you every day for about 1 year or 2 years, but I won't forget what you did to me. And I just think that it would be wise if we end a relationship. And she told her what she was doing, and the friend had admitted it. She knew what she was doing. And sometimes sorry just does not help. It really don't. Especially when you're coming after someone or constantly, like she was, preaching at someone about things that was a matter with her heart or that dealt with her emotions, because you never know what type of mind state or heart state the person is in. And so still to this day, if she see her, she just look the other way. Or maybe if she say hi, she might say hi, and she go on and she said, I forgive her. I just don't want anything else to do with her. She drove a big wedge in my heart, and she kept drilling and drilling and drilling on purpose because she act like she knew everything. And that young lady was one of the most closest friends of staying there beside her and helping her through her storms. And sometimes I think we can all take advantage of people, especially good friends like that. Another positive space you want to learn is accepting yourself, no matter what it is that you've done or said or thought about. It begins with you because you live with yourself. You can't get away from yourself. Everybody else can move out of the home. You still can't get away from yourself. You can't get away from your mind. You can't get out of your mind. So you want to begin to accept yourself and learn to love yourself. Even if you have to say out loud, I accept myself. I love myself. So that you can learn to just accept yourself. Another positive aspect is unresolved issues dealt with. You want to make sure that you deal with unresolved issues, and perhaps if you left the situation hastily, if it's safe, you might want to go back and try to work that out. It doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with the person, but work out the unresolved issues in a much healthier way. Or perhaps if you have a journal and you wish to write it down, what the person maybe have done or said, whatever that may be, whatever your situation is of unresolved issues that you have not dealt with, is you want to be able to do that so that you can see, and it's like closing the book on unresolved issues, and you're saying, my unresolved issues are dealt with, and that way they'll be dealt with inwardly in your heart. And you'll know that's a good way to just deal with unresolved issues. Another positive aspect is creating calmness in your life. A couple of things you can do to create calmness and peace in your life is to meditate. If you haven't tried meditation before and you don't believe in the yoga and the Pilates, because there are some people who don't, you might want to try some type of form of Christian music or some type of music where it's just the beat. Like, for example, the Arabian music or the African music where it's the beat, maybe where it's a little slower pace, so that you can just close your eyes and sit there and think about more positive aspects of things and about how you want to bring love in your life, how you see yourself walking in peace, things of that nature. You might even want to look into taking up a new skill. Also, another positive space is maintaining self-control. It's very important. We all can get angry, but what I have learned even with myself is if you can control yourself, it's easier to teach our children self-control, especially if you have little ones running around, because if they see us out of control, they'll get out of control and manage anger that way simply because we're doing it, and they don't realize that that's a learned behavior for them, but for us, maybe it was some type of hidden anger or agenda there. So maintaining self-control is very important for us. It brings more love to yourself. It brings more peace and calmness to you, and you're able to walk in more of a victory mode. When I say victory mode, because you're choosing to forgive and you have started accepting yourself and you're dealing with unresolved issues as you're thinking about them and they're coming up, you're creating calmness in your life and maintaining self-control. It is just easier to be in a winning situation. For example, it's like in your life, you're walking with more integrity and self-respect and dignity because you're choosing to create positive space inwardly in your heart. So if you were trying to write these down before you were trying to create your mission statement, the negative spaces were unforgiveness, bitterness, hatred, unresolved issues, and uncontrollable anger. The positive spaces were forgiving oneself, accepting yourself, unresolved issues dealt with, creating calmness in life, maintaining self-control. These are the types of spaces that one creates in life inwardly. That is the most important, that's within our heart. It's very, very important. Now we're going to move on to number 3. Excuse me, I'm reading out of the slides that I've created here. We're going to move on to, this is what negative space creates. Yes, we want to talk about, said what negative space created, but I'm going to share a little bit more with you so that you will know how they can relate to unhealthy habits and negative stressors and inward anger. We're going to wind up ending the show in about 9 minutes, and I'm going to have to come back on and go over the rest of the slides so that you can understand about creating your mission statement and beginning your new life. So, negative space creates unhealthy habits. One unhealthy habit is a negative stressor, and another one is unhealthy eating. Your negative stressor could be that maybe you drink more alcoholic beverages than you should. Maybe you get angry really, really quick. That's a negative stressor that can begin to create some physical symptoms in your life. The negative stressors are bad memories. It could be hatred toward others who you do not agree with. When it comes to inward anger, you can become indecisive about decisions, very controlling, or you could have aggressive behavior or very demanding behavior, where you believe that everybody should do things as you do or the way you want it done, or you don't want to hear it. Now, we want to move on to, this is what positive space creates. The things that positive space creates is creating positive space in your heart and life is a change and a commitment to yourself. We have creating newness of life on Spreaker. You might want to go back and look at the shows, a couple of the shows, episodes, where it's talk about commitment to yourself. I believe those are 3 episodes, and creating space is 3 episodes. This will help you with creating space in your life. But deciding to open up your heart for a newness or change to take place in your life, and as you're recognizing how unhealthy eating, being indecisive, or handling stress the wrong way can cause buildup in your life and how you respond to others. It doesn't mean that you have all of these. You might not even have any of these. I was just throwing out some examples for you so that you know. Okay, this is called Creating Everlasting Peace. For the Spreaker one that I was just telling you about, we created a show called Creating Everlasting Peace in Your Life, One Day at a Time. we have it on the creating a mission statement because this month, of course, this is on our PowerPoint slide here at Encouragement Services for the months of January through March, through the end of March. We're doing creating a mission statement and creating a Christian mission statement. And we also have a Word document as far as creating a statement and little what we call plugins that we go by, like little nuggets that you can use. So as we do that and we give that out to those who sign up for free encouragement through letters or through emails, we sometimes read what's going on our show in case some people want to tune in, because there are some people who listen and they write things down, but they might not want to email us to say that they want to sign up for the show for free encouragement, or that they want us to send them letters. They might not call, and that is certainly okay. However, if you do want to be a part of Encouragement Services free encouragement, our encouragement is a little different because we're about trying to help you walk through the steps of forgiveness and learning to create more peace and balance and boundaries in your life. Just give us a call at 1-866-524-4828, extension 2836, or email us at services@encouragementindytrauma.org, ENCOURAGEMENTINTHETRAUMA.org. To sign up is free. There's an intake form. We have a couple of forms. I think the forms is either 5 or 6 pages, and that is just for our information so we can keep it in our records and know what type of encouragement would a person like. We have 6 levels. Now, as we want to get back to the show, this one is called Creating Everlasting Peace, this podcast. And if you want to learn how to do that, if you go on Spreaker.com/user/encouragement, if you look for Creating Everlasting Peace, we should have 3 shows there. You don't have to listen to all of them. If you just listen to one, that can help you a great bit. But the steps you need to take in order to recognize the negative space in your life is step 1. You want to look in your own heart and see what negative space you have created in your life. And step 2, you want to be open-hearted and acknowledge to yourself what negative space you have allowed in your life. Step 3, you want to be open to change and learn to create positive space in your heart and your life. Now, what we're going to do is end this show here, and we're going to come back and discuss how you can continue to create your own mission statement. But in case you cannot listen to the second show, all you have to do, if you don't contact us here and ask us to mail you out the little creative, we just have a little creative mission statement that you could write for yourself out that's kind of cute and fancy, I think. But you can do it in the privacy of your own home. Just get some paper, and you can draw a circle, you can draw bubbles, you can draw a heart. You don't have to draw anything. You can put your name on it. You don't have to put your name on it. And you can write creating my own mission statement, or creating a mission statement. And what it is you want to write down what you want to see in your life, the changes you want to see in your heart, and the steps you're willing to take in your heart. For example, I have a regular mission statement and a mission statement for my heart about creating things in my heart, and it's in my journal that I keep. So I will write something like, with this Christian mission statement, I propose to myself that I'm going to love myself more and accept myself more and learn to let forgiveness go on a daily basis. And I add more sometimes to it. And as I do that, sometimes I keep a journal with how I forgave others. And if I don't write it down, I'll say out loud to myself or to God how I forgave someone. The reason we're just going with the creating a mission statement is because although we're a Christian organization, we know that everybody aren't Christians. For those who want the Christian mission statement, we can give that to you. Or if you just want creating a mission statement, you can just have that as well. We're getting ready to end the show, and we're getting ready to start the second, creating your own mission statement. We hope that we've encouraged you somehow today. Thank you for listening and tuning in.